This lesson is about the passé composé in French, for example, j'ai parlé. And the information from this lesson is being taken from bonpatron.com's grammar guide, which you can find right here. And just search for passé composé down in the search box, or you can find it in the section on verbs. All right, so the passé composé, let's talk about what is it used for and how is it formed. Well, the purpose of the passé composé is to discuss or talk about past events in French. So if we look at the examples here, j'ai acheté un ordinateur hier soir. So I bought a computer last night. This is an event that took place in a relatively short time span in the past. Now, to form the passé composé, unlike English, where you have two options, a simple past and a compound one with a helper verb and a past participle, the passé composé, the typical French past form, always has a form of the verb avoir followed by a past participle of the verb. So here we have examples of the verb parler with the English translations. J'ai parlé, tu as parlé, il a parlé, on a parlé, nous avons parlé, vous avez parlé, ils ont parlé. Right? So there always has to be a conjugated form of avoir followed by the past participle. So what is this past participle? Well, it's the form you have to have in the passé composé, and the exact form depends on the infinitive. So if it's an ER infinitive like parler, it's going to end with E with an accent. If it is an infinitive that ends in RE, like rendre, it will end in U. And if it is an infinitive that ends in IR, like finir, the past participle will end in the letter I. Now, importantly, with a number of very frequent verbs, there's a special past participle form that you have to learn. For example, with the past of the actual verb avoir, j'ai eu. The past passé composé of être, j'ai été. Right? So you need to learn these because they're very common, even though they don't follow the general pattern. As I said, you will usually use avoir, though for some verbs, être will be the auxiliary. And you can find information by clicking here, and I'll discuss this in a different video. One last detail, for the past participle forms, if you have an object that's feminine or plural, and it comes before the main verb, so here, for example, the object, the apple that I ate, you have to show agreement on that past participle. Here we have a preceding feminine. I put an E to indicate the feminine. In the second one, des filles que j'ai vues, you have feminine plural, and I indicate feminine and plural here. Right? Now, let's look at the questions section here to make sure you avoid the common mistakes. So let's click on here. And this will take us to a section with some errors and an explanation for why it is the correct way and not another way. And usually the parts in red are errors you might make and you want to avoid. Right? So in this first case, you know, it has to be a past participle, not the infinitive. So make sure it ends in the right one. Right? Remember, some of them are irregular. And this question about having that E on the end, that's only if there's an object. Now here we have a subject. There it doesn't change anything. Right? It's only when we have an object that you will want something to show agreements. Right? So go through these and make sure you understand the correct usage and the mistakes to avoid. Now I'm going to click on the exercise section, and this is to show you that you have quite a few options for interactive exercises to make sure you understand how to do the passé composé. So let's try this one. Does that look right? Yeah, it should be right. Let's click it. Yes, it is. So you should go through all of these exercises, and there's quite a bit here to help make sure you understand the way it works. The last thing you can do, if you'd like, is you can go over to the Bon Patron grammar checker. I'll click on it here. And you can, if you want, compose your own paragraph to talk about something you did yesterday. Say you want to say, yesterday I studied. Well, how does that look? Well, let's check and see what the grammar checker says. No, there's a problem here, right? And it's telling you need the past participle. So feel free to use let's get this. I'll just use the accent up here. Feel free to use the grammar checker and come up with your own stories using the passé composé.